Hi, I'm Marilyn, and this morning on June 20th, 1789, 576 out of 577 members of the Third Estate were locked out of a meeting of the Estates General. This group, known as the National Assembly, is led by Honoré Gabriel Riquetti. It was quite a shock to find the doors to their chamber had been locked and were also guarded by soldiers. After realizing there wasn't going to be a way into their meeting place, they left the scene worried King Louis XVI was planning an attack. Our live reporter, Susan, is with the National Assembly right now. Susan?
Hi Marilyn, I'm here at the site where the members of the National Assembly fled to. As you can tell, we are in an indoor tennis court. The National Assembly has come up with something called the Tennis Court Oath to help keep them together in case something happens. Actually, here's one of the members right now. Hello sir, are you a part of the National Assembly, correct?
Yes, I am. We all gathered here a few minutes ago to pledge our oath.
And what would that oath be?
Not to separate and to reassemble wherever circumstances require until the Constitution of the Kingdom is established. As well as repeating this oath, we also signed this paper showing our loyalty to the National Assembly.
Thank you for explaining the oath to our viewers. We appreciate your time. So there you have it. As the scene of the Tennis Court Oath, I'm Susan, reporting live.
Good evening, my name is Susan, and I'm reporting France's first rebellion against our government. It is one of the latest tragedies that has occurred here in France. Earlier this morning, thousands of women were very distraught over the outrageously high price of bread. Being so outraged, the women raided the city armory for weapons. Many women used kitchen blades and other homemade weapons. As more and more people gathered at the Hotel de Ville, the crowd reached between 6,000 and 7,000. Here's a picture to show the enormity of this event. The crowd violently attacked the palace and placed their demands on King Louis XVI. He was frightened and overwhelmed by the mob. The king was then forced to flee to Tuileries with the rest of his assembly, but he promised to have all the bread in Versailles ordered out to them. The events that occurred earlier today symbolized the balancing of power that replaced the First Estate and made the Third Estate more popular. The March on Versailles today has been one of the most significant events that we have seen so far in the Revolution. After these events, which represented steps towards equality for men and women, the king decided to move his court to Paris and never saw Versailles again. Stay tuned for more information about today's events.
Hi, I'm Marilyn, and I'm here with Queen Marie Antoinette. Hi Marie, it's an honor to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about your life, your childhood?
I was born on November 2nd, 1755 in Vienna, Austria. My parents, Francis Stefan and Maria Theresa, who ruled the Holy Roman Empire, believed that I would be the Queen of France.
And they were obviously correct in believing that. When did your husband become the king?
Louis became the king 4 years after we got married in 1774. That was when I became queen.
I have heard that you changed many things after you became queen. What were some of your major changes?
Instead of ignoring our financial crisis, I reduced my staff, eliminating many of our useless workers. I made the wrong choice because that angered many of the other nobles. Louis and I were placed in danger because of political and social ideologies were changing at that time.
What has been the most challenging part of your reign as queen?
In 1709, our palace was invaded and we had to move. We fled to the Tuileries, and at that point we became prisoners of war, so when it was desperately needed, I asked for help from my brother and sister.
I understand you attempted to flee Paris. At what point was this attempt?
I made an effort to flee in 1791 and I failed. When the countries of my brother and sister declared war on us, they accused me of passing military secrets on to them. On August 10, 1772, my whole family was arrested because they suspected me of treason.
Oh dear, is your family still being held captive, or are they free now?
We are all still being held captive. However, they let me come here today to share my story with you. My trial will decide our fate and what will become of me.
Your husband already went through his trial and was found guilty, correct?
Yes, he was convicted and given the death penalty and was executed at the guillotine on January 21st, 1793.
I'm so sorry for your loss and for the grief that must have come with this catastrophe. I know this is a very rough time for you, but we really appreciate your time and company this morning. Thank you. Hi, I'm Marilyn, and in breaking news today, the controversial Marie Antoinette has come to her demise. The traitor has never been well liked because of her Austrian blood, her extravagance, and the way she controls her husband, King Louis XVI. Maximilien Robespierre, leader of the Jacobins, pushed for the execution of the king and his queen. King Louis and Marie Antoinette were convicted of treason and found guilty by the Convention. The Convention found them guilty of treason due to the king's reluctance to approve the Constitution. Also, he committed treason by his opposition to anti-clerical legislation and his family's unsuccessful escape from Paris. Now, cutting live to Susan at the execution site.
I'm here at the site of Marie Antoinette's execution, and it is looking pretty grim. As she's preparing for her death, the tension and anticipation throughout the crowd is high. Marie Antoinette is now entering the guillotine, and her death awaits her. Both her late husband, King Louis XVI, and herself will be executed in this Place de la Révolution in their late 30s. However, after King Louis's death 9 months ago, Marie spiraled into a deep depression and is in terrible condition. This event is all the National Convention has been talking about, and they have been deeply pondering the question of her fate. As Queen Marie Antoinette departs today on October 16, 1793, she will be remembered as a scandalous traitor. The executor is now offering Marie the opportunity to speak her last words.
Monsieur, I ask your pardon. I did not do it on purpose.